You weren't born to live on your knees. You weren't made to just survive, go through the motions, follow the crowd, and hope it all works out. Deep inside you, there's something greater, a fire, a force. A version of you that doesn't flinch when life hits hard, but hits back harder. But here's the truth. The world doesn't care about your dreams. It doesn't care about your potential. Life will test you. It'll throw storms your way when you least expect it. And if you haven't built yourself, if you haven't forged that inner steel, you'll break. Not because you're weak, but because you were never prepared. So don't wait for the pain to teach you what preparation could have. Don't wait for heartbreak, failure, rejection, or defeat to force you to grow. Build yourself now. Mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Step into that next level version of you before life tries to drag you down. Because when you're built from within, nothing on the outside can tear you apart. This is your moment to rise. To decide that no matter what the world throws at you, you won't just endure, you'll dominate. Because you're not here to fit in. You're here to rise, to conquer, to become something the world can't break. Pain is inevitable. Life will hurt. That's not a question. That's not a maybe. That's a guarantee. The only difference between the people who rise and the ones who stay broken is how they prepared before the pain arrived. You see, most people don't think about preparation. They think about motivation, inspiration, chasing dreams, feeling good, but when the storm hits, and it always hits, that motivation disappears, the excitement is gone, and now you're face to face with the truth. You either built yourself for this or you didn't. Preparation is the difference between falling apart and rising above. It's not sexy, it's not glamorous. Nobody claps for the early mornings, the extra reps, the uncomfortable conversations, the self-discipline it takes to say no when the easy choice is begging you to say yes. But that's where the real work is done. That's where strength is forged. Because when you build before the battle, you're not scrambling in the chaos. You're standing ready. While others are trying to figure out how to cope, you're already trained to conquer. You don't get strong in the middle of the fight. You get strong before it even begins. But most people live in denial. They hope life goes easy on them. They avoid hard truths. They avoid the grind. They avoid discomfort. And when life finally punches them in the face, when a business fails, when a relationship falls apart, when rejection shows up or loss breaks their heart, they crumble. Not because they were weak by nature, but because they refused to prepare for the inevitable. Building yourself is a daily decision. It's the choice to take action when no one's watching. It's the voice in your head that says, do it anyway, when your body screams to quit. It's training your mind to stay calm under pressure because you've already practiced the storm in your head 1,000 times. So when reality gets loud, you don't panic, you execute. That's what preparation gives you, certainty in uncertainty. Pain doesn't wait for your permission, it shows up uninvited. The preparation means you've already built the muscle to handle it. Emotional muscle, mental endurance, spiritual grounding. You can't fake those things when it counts. You either have them or you don't. And the only way to have them is to build them before you need them. Some people think strength comes from surviving pain. And yes, pain teaches, but there's a smarter path. You don't need to crash to wake up. You don't need to break to learn. If you take the time to sharpen your mind, harden your resolve, and build your character now, when the pressure isn't overwhelming, you'll walk into chaos with clarity. You won't fear pain because you already understand it. You've already rehearsed how to respond. Most people respond to pain with panic. They shut down. They ask, why me? They beg for comfort. But you, when you're prepared, you step into pain with power. You look at it and say, I was built for this. Not because you're arrogant, but because you paid the price in advance. You didn't just dream, you trained. You didn't just hope, you prepared. There's a cost to growth, but there's a bigger cost to staying soft. If you think preparation is hard, wait until life breaks something you love. Wait until you lose something that mattered. Wait until you look back and realize you weren't ready, and now the damage is done. That regret is heavier than any discipline you could have carried earlier. So the question isn't whether pain is coming. It is. The question is, who will you be when it does? That's what preparation decides. That's what the early mornings, the brutal honesty, the self-mastery creates. It creates someone who doesn't just survive pain, they dominate it. Someone who doesn't collapse under pressure, they rise through it. And there is no shortcut here. No way around it. If you don't prepare, you will break. Not because you're not capable, but because you didn't give yourself a chance. And if you do prepare, if you choose the hard path now, when the hard times come, you'll already be 10 steps ahead. While others are learning how to breathe again, you'll be building forward. While others are lost in confusion, you'll be locked in on your mission. That's what separates the average from the unstoppable. Not talent, not luck, preparation. The hours no one sees, the sweat no one celebrates, the mindset you carve out one hard decision at a time. Because when you build yourself in silence, the world can't take your power in the noise. So make the choice now, not when it hurts, not when it's too late. Make it today. Build the emotional muscle, build the inner calm. Build the vision so clear that no storm can blur it. Don't let pain catch you by surprise. Meet it head on with the confidence of someone who already paid the price in preparation. Because in the end, life isn't about avoiding pain. It's about becoming stronger than it. And that strength, that fire, that unshakable certainty, it only comes to those who prepare. Your mind is either your greatest weapon or your greatest weakness. It will build you or it will break you, not because of what happens outside, but because of what happens inside. The world is chaotic, it's unpredictable. It will throw distractions, disappointments, and defeats at you without warning, but when your mind is a fortress, none of that gets in. You don't just react to life, you direct it. You don't collapse when pressure rises, you channel it. And that begins with how you build the world within. Most people don't protect their mind. They leave the doors wide open. They let in fear, doubt, comparison, and negativity like uninvited guests. And once those guests move in, they take over. They control decisions. They sabotage potential. They make you believe that you're not enough, that your dream is too big, that your past defines your future. But none of that is real. It only becomes real if you let it take root. And if your mind isn't guarded, it will absorb every lie it's exposed to. Building your mind into a fortress doesn't mean ignoring the world. It means mastering how you interpret it. Because it's not what happens to you that defines you, it's what you do with it. You can have pain and still find purpose. You can face failure and still choose power, but only if your mindset is strong enough to rise above the noise. The real war isn't outside, it's in your thoughts. If you don't win that war, it doesn't matter how many opportunities you get, you'll never fully step into them. A fortress doesn't just happen. It's built brick by brick, thought by thought, decision by decision. And it starts with awareness. You've got to pay attention to what you're feeding your mind. What are you watching, reading, listening to? Who are you surrounding yourself with? Every single input is a brick. And if you're not intentional, you're building with garbage, weak materials, ideas that will crumble under stress. You have to replace that with strength, with clarity, with thoughts that empower you rather than imprison you. Discipline your mind to search for solutions, not problems. To find reasons to fight, not excuses to quit. To focus on what you can control, not what you can't. That kind of thinking turns your mind into a stronghold. One that doesn't just defend, it commands. One that isn't shaken by criticism, rejection, or fear because it's been trained to lead, not follow. Most people let their emotions drive them. Their mood dictates their moves. If they feel tired, they don't show up. If they feel afraid, they play small. But when your mind is your fortress, you don't wait to feel ready, you act. You lead your emotions instead of being led by them. You say, I don't feel like doing it, but I do it anyway. Because I made a decision, because I've trained for this. Because I'm not here to live at the mercy of my feelings. And let's be honest, life will test this. It will bring anxiety, overwhelm, fear of failure, all of it. But that's where your training kicks in. That's when the fortress shows its strength. You'll be in the fire, but you won't burn. You'll feel pressure, but you won't crack. Because you've trained your thoughts to serve your purpose, not sabotage it. Here's the truth. If you don't learn to control your mind, someone else will. The world will sell you fear. The media will sell you drama. The people around you will project their limits onto you. And if you don't have a strong inner filter, you'll start believing what doesn't belong to you. You'll start shrinking to fit someone else's version of reality. But you don't need to live that way. You can take your mind back. You can reinforce it, strengthen it, and lock it in with discipline, vision, and unshakable standards. You can decide that no outside circumstance will determine your inner state, that your peace is non-negotiable, that your power is not up for grabs, that the noise around you doesn't dictate the truth within you. Because when your mind is a fortress, you don't just survive the world, you shape it. You don't just endure circumstances, you influence them. You become someone who moves forward no matter what's falling apart around you. Someone who doesn't run from resistance but grows through it. Someone who lives with purpose, intention, and strength that cannot be shaken. And that kind of mindset, that kind of mental fortress isn't built in a day. It's built in the dark, in the quiet, in the repetition of doing the hard thing when no one's watching. But once it's built, it protects everything you're working for. Your vision, your growth, your future. Because no matter what the world throws at you, when your mind is your fortress, nothing can bring you down. Pain is part of the process. It's the one thing you can't skip, can't run from, can't buy your way around. It shows up for everyone, the rich, the poor, the confident, the scared, the driven, the lazy. No one gets a free pass. Life guarantees pain. What it doesn't guarantee is growth. That part is on you. That's the choice. That's the moment where who you become is decided not by the pain itself, but by what you do with it. See, most people treat pain like a punishment. They get hit with disappointment, heartbreak, failure, rejection, and they start asking, why me? They think they're being targeted. They think life is unfair. But pain doesn't come to punish, it comes to prepare. It comes to reveal who you really are when everything's stripped away. The masks fall off, the ego dies, and what's left is the real you. Now the question is, will you stay down or will you build something new from the ashes? Growth is never automatic. Pain doesn't equal progress unless you choose to learn from it. That means you have to stop avoiding it, stop numbing it, stop blaming others for it, and start owning it. You have to look pain in the eye and say, okay, you're here. I didn't ask for you, but I accept you. Now teach me. Show me where I need to grow. Show me what needs to change. That's where the transformation begins, not in the comfort, but in the confrontation. There's a reason the strongest people you know have a past. They didn't just wake up one day filled with wisdom, discipline, grit, and clarity. They were forged in moments of pain they didn't see coming. They were crushed, humbled, broken, but they didn't stay there. They made a choice, a brutal, difficult, lonely choice to grow, to rise, to rebuild, stronger this time. That's not luck, that's not talent, that's decision. Pain has the power to shape you or shatter you, but it all comes down to how you respond. Do you become bitter or do you become better? Do you collapse or do you commit? Do you shrink from the pressure or do you rise through it? And let's be clear, choosing growth doesn't mean you won't feel the pain. It doesn't mean the nights won't be long or the tears won't fall. It just means you won't let the pain be the end of your story. People think strength is about never hurting. That's not strength. That's denial. Real strength is built when you hurt, but you don't quit. When you're exhausted, but you still show up. When you don't have the answers, but you keep asking the right questions. Growth isn't comfortable. It's messy, it's painful, but it's also powerful because every time you choose it, you become a stronger version of yourself. Think about it. Every major turning point in your life came from pain. The breakup that forced you to find yourself. The failure that pushed you to reinvent your path. The betrayal that taught you your worth. These moments didn't feel good, but they gave you something. They woke you up. They cut away what no longer served you. They introduced you to a version of yourself you didn't know existed. That version, that's the one built by choice. The one who didn't just experience pain but grew through it. You have to rewire your relationship with pain. Stop waiting for life to be easy. Stop hoping it'll get smoother before you start chasing what you want. It won't, but you can get stronger. You can choose to let pain build you instead of break you. You can use it as fuel. Use it as feedback. Use it as a signal that you're stretching, growing, evolving. Because here's the truth. Comfort is a liar. It tells you you're okay when you're not. It tells you you're growing when you're actually stuck. Pain is honest. Pain tells you something needs to change. It forces you to pay attention, to dig deeper, to get real with yourself. And if you listen, really listen, it will guide you to the next level. But you've got to lean in. You've got to stop running. Growth is a choice you make every day, especially when it hurts. Especially when everything in you wants to go back to what's familiar. But familiar doesn't lead to greatness. Familiar leads to repeating the same cycles. Growth, real, lasting growth requires disruption, discomfort, discipline. But it also delivers power, confidence, freedom. So when pain shows up, don't ask why me, ask what now? What can I learn? What can I change? Who can I become because of this? That's where the shift happens. That's where pain becomes purpose. That's where wounds become wisdom. And that's where you stop being a victim of life and start becoming the architect of your future. Because pain is inevitable, but growth, that's your choice. Choose it every time, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Because on the other side of that choice is the person you were born to be. Discomfort is the unspoken truth of success. It's the secret ingredient that most people avoid, yet it's the very thing that gives birth to greatness. You see, we live in a world that thrives on convenience. People are constantly looking for the easiest way out, the quickest fix, the most comfortable path. But here's the hard truth. Comfort never led anyone to their highest potential. It never produced innovation, progress, or achievement. It simply kept people stuck. Discomfort, on the other hand, is where power is forged. It's where champions are made. It's the foundation upon which true strength, resilience, and success are built. Think about it. Every time you've experienced growth in your life, it was because you pushed yourself into discomfort. Whether it was training for a marathon, taking a leap in your career, or having a tough conversation with someone you care about, you had to step outside your comfort zone. And it wasn't easy. In fact, it was painful. But that's where the magic happens. That's where your potential expands. Growth isn't about finding a way to avoid discomfort. It's about learning how to embrace it, how to face it head on, and how to use it to build the life you want. The truth is, you can't grow without discomfort. It's like trying to build muscle without lifting weights, or trying to get smarter without studying. If you want to strengthen your body, you've got to push it past its limits. If you want to build your mind, you've got to challenge it with new ideas, new skills, new ways of thinking. And the more you challenge yourself, the more discomfort you'll face. But every time you push through that discomfort, you get stronger. Every time you resist the urge to quit, you build more mental toughness, more resilience, more power. It's easy to avoid discomfort. It's easy to stay in the safe zone, to stay in the routine, to keep doing what feels familiar. But that's also the path of stagnation. It's the path of mediocrity. The path of least resistance rarely leads anywhere extraordinary. You can't expect to grow by staying where it's comfortable. You can't expect to reach your fullest potential by avoiding challenges. Success is built on a foundation of discomfort. The more you embrace it, the more power you create. Discomfort is also where you find your true self. When life gets tough, when you push to your limits, that's when the real you shows up. The version of yourself that you've been avoiding or ignoring is revealed. It's easy to be calm and collected when everything is going your way, but true strength is revealed in the face of adversity. When you're in the middle of discomfort, you have a choice. You can either run away from it or you can lean into it and grow. The decision you make in those moments determines who you become. But here's the thing. Most people don't want to face discomfort. They want the reward without the work, the success without the sacrifice. They see the result, but they don't see the process. They don't see the sweat, the struggle, the failures, the rejections, the tough decisions. They don't see the days when you don't feel like doing it, but do it anyway. Discomfort is the part of the process that people often overlook or try to avoid. But it's the part that matters most. It's the part that shapes you into the person capable of achieving your dreams. You can look at discomfort as something to fear or something to embrace. The difference between the two is perspective. If you see discomfort as a sign that you're on the wrong path, you'll retreat every time it shows up. But if you see it as a sign that you're on the right path, you'll lean into it, you'll embrace it, you'll know that this is the moment where growth happens, where transformation happens, where you build the mental and emotional muscle needed to achieve your goals. Look at any successful person and you'll find one common denominator. They all experience discomfort. They all face situations that push them to their breaking point, where they could have chosen the easy way out, but they chose to rise instead. They chose to grow. They chose to stay in the fire until they emerged stronger, smarter, and more capable. That's why they succeeded. That's why they were able to achieve things that others couldn't. They weren't afraid of discomfort. They understood that it was the foundation of their power. Discomfort is also where you find resilience. Resilience isn't built in the absence of challenges. It's built in the presence of them. It's built when you're knocked down, but you get back up. It's built when life tests you and you choose to keep going. Resilience isn't something you can learn from a book or a seminar. It's something you learn through experience. You learn it by facing the hard stuff head on, by pushing yourself past your limits, by doing the work, even when it feels like it's too much. And the more you do that, the stronger you get. So the next time you feel discomfort, don't run from it. Don't try to avoid it. Don't tell yourself that it's a sign that something's wrong. Tell yourself that it's a sign that you're on the right track. Embrace it, welcome it. Know that it's not here to hurt you, it's here to help you. Discomfort is the test that separates the dreamers from the doers, the average from the exceptional, the comfortable from the unstoppable. If you want power, you have to step into discomfort. It's where growth happens. It's where resilience is built. It's where you find your true strength. You can't avoid it. You can't run from it, but you can choose to use it as fuel. You can choose to use discomfort as the foundation of the power that will carry you to the next level. Because the reality is, without discomfort, You never know what you're truly capable of. Your identity is not something that's handed to you at birth, nor is it something that's pre-written. It is not set in stone, and it's certainly not something that's given to you by the circumstances of your life. Your identity is something you build, one decision at a time, one action at a time. It is crafted by the choices you make and the habits you cultivate. It's forged in the fires of discipline, failure, success, and growth. The person you are today is not the person you have to be tomorrow. The power to change, to reinvent, to become someone new, someone stronger, more focused, more confident, is in your hands. The world often tells us that our identity is determined by external factors. Our job, our family, our past, our status. It tries to define us based on what we have or haven't achieved, how much money we make, or how others perceive us. But if you let the world determine your identity, you'll always be at its mercy. External validation can never define who you truly are. It's a fleeting measure, and it leaves you dependent on other people's opinions, circumstances, and outcomes. You are not your past. You are not your failures. You are not your job title. You are not your mistakes. You are not what others say about you. Your true identity is something that comes from within. It is something you create from the inside out. The power to shape your identity lies in how you see yourself and how you show up every single day. Every thought you think, every action you take, and every habit you build is reinforcing the person you're becoming. If you want to be someone who is disciplined, you don't wait for motivation to strike. You create the habit of discipline even when it's hard. If you want to be someone who is successful, you don't wait for the world to hand you success on a silver platter. You start acting like a successful person, making decisions, taking risks, and facing challenges with courage. If you want to be someone who is strong, you don't wait for strength to magically appear. You show up. Even when you're tired, and you push yourself to become stronger. Your identity is not given to you by chance. It's built through consistent action and a commitment to growth. It's an ongoing process of becoming, and here's the beauty of it. You can build your identity at any moment. It's never too late to decide who you want to be. You don't have to wait for the perfect time. You don't have to wait for permission. You don't have to wait until you've reached a certain age, accomplished a certain goal, or made a certain amount of money. You can decide who you want to be today, right now, and start building that person immediately. But building your identity requires effort. It requires discipline. It requires getting uncomfortable and stepping into situations that challenge you. It requires confronting the parts of yourself that you're not proud of and making a conscious decision to change. It's not about waiting for the world to give you the identity you think you deserve. It's about crafting that identity yourself. It's about deciding who you want to become and then taking the steps every single day to align your actions with that vision. Most people spend their entire lives living as the person they were yesterday. They allow their past mistakes, their limiting beliefs, and their fears to define them. They carry around labels given to them by their upbringing, by society, by other people, that shape their view of themselves. But the truth is, you are not bound by your past. You are not limited by the mistakes you've made or the challenges you've faced. Your past is simply a reference point, not a definition. It does not have to determine your future. To truly build your identity, you must begin by letting go of old, outdated versions of yourself. Let go of the beliefs that say you can't be more, do more, or have more. Let go of the idea that you are stuck or that your circumstances will forever define you. It's time to stop playing small. It's time to stop holding on to excuses and self-imposed limitations. Your identity is not a fixed point. It is a reflection of the choices you make every day. You are the author of your story, and you can write a new chapter at any time. This process of building your identity is not always easy. It will test you. There will be moments when you doubt yourself, when you feel like giving up, when you question whether the person you're becoming is even worth the effort. But those are the moments that matter most. When you push through those moments, when you stay committed to the vision of who you want to become, that's when your identity is truly forged. That's when you go from being a person who is reactive to a person who is proactive. A person who creates their own reality instead of waiting for life to hand it to them. Your identity is not something that's given to you by your circumstances, your job, or your upbringing. It's something you decide. It's something you choose every single day with every thought, action, and decision. You are not defined by your failures, your mistakes, or your past. You are defined by who you choose to become today. So choose wisely. Choose to become the person you've always wanted to be. Choose to build your identity with strength, with purpose, and with relentless determination. Because the truth is, who you are is entirely up to you. Your identity is built, not given. And that's the most powerful thing of all. The world doesn't respect those who quit when things get tough, those who fold under pressure, or those who seek an easy way out. It doesn't admire the ones who play it safe, who take no risks, who never challenge themselves. No, the world respects the unbreakable. The ones who, when life pushes them down, rise again stronger. The ones who keep going when the path is unclear and the future uncertain. The ones who don't let failure define them, but use it as fuel to reach even higher. It respects the ones who are relentless, who are driven by purpose, and who never, ever give up. The unbreakable are those who have been tested by fire, who have walked through the storms of life and come out on the other side, not just surviving, but thriving. The world doesn't respect the ones who look for shortcuts. It doesn't honor the ones who avoid discomfort. It doesn't value the ones who only seek the light and never face the darkness. It respects the ones who face challenges head on, who walk through the fire and come out stronger, who use adversity as their stepping stone, not their stopping point. Resilience is the key to being unbreakable. It's the ability to take a hit, feel the weight of the blow, and then get up and keep moving forward. Resilience isn't about being invincible. It's not about never feeling pain, fear, or doubt. It's about the ability to keep going when everything inside you is telling you to quit. It's about showing up when you're tired, when you're discouraged, and when you feel like you've given all you've got. The unbreakable don't let setbacks define them. They redefine the setback.